Howdy, everybody. For Life Lesson Friday for September 27th, 2024, what about trying too hard to make something work? And I know I've talked about not giving up, making sure that you push through the difficult times so that you can achieve the goals and success that you want. But sometimes we're trying too hard to make something work that just is not going to work. So it's similar to trying to put a square peg into a round hole, right? Like it's not going to work. You got to find the square hole to be able to put the peg into, or a big enough round hole that it'll fit. But then it's still not perfect. It's still not right, but it'll work, right? And so sometimes we try too hard to make something work, and it winds up frustrating us, and it's not it's just not the right thing. It's not the right fit. It's not the right timing. And so sometimes it is a timing issue. Sometimes it is we're a little bit off of what we want or what needs to happen, right? And I was thinking about this with my business, and it's because there's things that I want, that I really want to happen. There's programs, there's pieces that I really want to be successful. And then when I look at, okay, what is successful? Where do I get my referrals from? What is working really, really well? Sometimes it's not those things that I want to work really well. And then it's a question of like, okay, well, how do we change? Right? And is that thing that I'm going after, that I really want to work, that's not working right now, is it really what I'm supposed to be doing? And so taking that time to evaluate where we're at, the differences between what we want and where we're at, and what it's going to take to get there. And are the things that we're doing putting us on the track to get there? Are we seeing results? Because if we're not seeing results, if we're not seeing at least some increases in that direction, then we're trying to put that square peg into a round hole. And we're trying because we see the other side, and we're like, oh my gosh, it would be so great if this happened, that happened, because the other side looks like this. And a lot of times it's, I think back to something I saw this week, that there's a very well-known entrepreneur who put out a reel that said, he was talking about failures, and he said, 90% of the ideas I have, at least 90% fail when it comes to his business. He said it's the 10% that work that he says, okay, well, whether or not that's ideally what I thought my business was going to look like when I looked at it 10 years ago or not, that's what worked. So that's what I focus on. Like the 90% that fail, if I keep trying just to focus on those 90%, no matter what I thought they were going to bring to me, I'd miss out on the 10% that worked. And a lot of times in life, we do that. We think about, whether it's because we're seeing what other people have got, in doing that comparison thing, or we're thinking of where we should be at this point in our life, which everybody's life is different and everybody's timeline is different. There's a lot of reasons why we focus on those areas where we think we should be, instead of looking at, oh, hey, this works, and so this is what I'm going to do. And for years, I fought the coaching side. I fought against it. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to be those things. For years, I thought, nope, I just need to be in the corporate world doing that thing. And once I tasted it and got onto this side and doing it, it's obvious this is where I should have been all along. And I fought it. And so what I want to tell you is, like, if you've got those things that are working, they may not be the glamorous things. They may not be things that, like, oh my gosh, this is going to, flood my life with revenue, flood my life with money, flood my life with whatever, where you might get that. And you hear about this story from lots and lots of people where they had a great job, they were making great money, They hated the job because it wasn't a good fit for them. They switched gears. They went into something they were passionate about. They didn't make near as much money, but they had a much better life and they enjoyed life, and they would tell you that they would do it over, and over again. And I would do the same thing. And I should have done it earlier, right? And that's another thing that a lot of people say. And when you say I should have done it earlier, basically what you're saying is I was trying too long to get that square peg into that round hole. I was trying as hard as I could. I was hammering it down, doing everything I could to try and get it to fit, and it wouldn't fit. And I stuck too long on it instead of looking at it and realizing, oh, it's a square peg. It's not going in that hole, right? At some point, we have to give up on that, shift gears, and say, okay, where does this fit, right? Where does this fit? And either it's the correct hole, we got to find the right peg, or it's the right peg and we got to find the right hole. One of the two, right? And a lot of times it's just as easy as that. It's just as easy as stopping what we're doing, looking at it and saying, what is it that I'm missing that's telling me I need to go in a different direction? So I'm not saying give up easily, but we have to take that time to evaluate and say, am I doing the right things? Am I getting there? Are these things working? And if I'm seeing traction, I may not see traction as fast as I want to, and that's okay. Because like I said, everybody has their own timeline. So it may not be working as fast as you want, but if you're seeing results, you're seeing things work, stay at it, keep at it. When the results stop, you have to evaluate it and say, is this still something that's working? Did I tweak the system? Am I not doing something that I was doing before? In which direction do I need to pivot? So if you do all those things, more than likely you're going to get to the end result where you want to be, because life is not a linear line. It's an up and down and twisting, and you go all around, and you have ups and downs and peaks and valleys, and being able to stick through those things and evaluate as you go through them which way you're supposed to go is how you come out the other side where you want to be.